It's 3 in the afternoon. Your dog is standing at the edge of the couch, paw raised, head turned, looking directly at you. Most people assume it's asking for permission, but that's not what's happening. Your dog isn't waiting for a yes or no, it's reading you. And what it finds in that glance will determine not just whether it jumps, but how it interprets nearly everything that happens next. Let's start with what most owners believe. We've been told that dogs look to us for approval, that the glance is about obedience, about learned rules. And while that's part of it, it's not the whole truth. Because the pause before the look is just as important as the look itself. But the researchers who spent decades studying this found something that sounds almost nothing like either explanation. In 2018, scientists at the University of Vienna observed 47 dogs in mildly ambiguous situations: a slightly open door, an unfamiliar object placed in their path, a stranger standing too close. What they found was that dogs didn't just check their owners randomly. They checked when the outcome was uncertain, when the world didn't give them a clear answer. And in those moments, 91% of dogs delayed their next action until they saw their owner's face. Not their hand, not their posture, their face. Now think about what that means for the dog sitting beside you right now. It's not looking for a command. It's looking for information it can't get anywhere else. Your dog has learned that your face reveals whether the world is safe, whether the stranger is friendly, whether the room ahead is worth entering, and it has trained itself to wait for that signal before committing to a choice. A second study in 2020 at Duke University tested this further. Researchers placed 62 dogs in front of 2 identical boxes. One contained a treat, the other was empty. But here's what made it brilliant. The dogs couldn't see inside, only the owner could. And the owner was instructed to do one of 3 things: look at the correct box, look at the wrong box, or stare straight ahead with no expression. The dogs who looked at their owners first chose correctly 76% of the time. The dogs who didn't look chose randomly, almost exactly 50-50. Your dog wasn't guessing, it was reading your attention like a map, and using that map to navigate a world it couldn't fully see on its own. Here's the question almost nobody asks. Why does your dog trust your face more than its own nose? Dogs have 300 million scent receptors. They can smell fear. They can smell illness. They can detect a treat inside a sealed box from across the room. And yet, they still look at you first. Because somewhere in the thousands of years we've lived together, dogs didn't just learn to obey us, they learned to interpret us, to treat our emotions as data, and to use that data to make better decisions than they could make alone. Let's be specific about what this means. In 2019, researchers at Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest studied 58 dog owner pairs and measured something called social referencing. That's the scientific term for checking someone's emotional reaction before acting. It's what human toddlers do when they fall and look at their parent's face before deciding whether to cry. And dogs do it too, but not just in moments of fear, in moments of uncertainty. The study found that dogs adjusted their behavior based on the owner's facial expression in 83% of trials. But here's the detail most people miss. The adjustment happened before the dog fully committed to the action. It saw your face, it recalibrated, and then it moved. Think about what that means for the dog staring at you from the edge of the couch right now. It's not asking if it's allowed. It's asking if you're calm, if you're stressed, if you're distracted. And based on what it sees, it will decide not just whether to jump, but how confident to feel while doing it. Now, here's where most advice gets it wrong. You've probably heard that you should ignore your dog when it looks at you like this, that acknowledging the glance rewards hesitation, that confident dogs don't need permission. But the research says the opposite. Dogs who were ignored during uncertain moments didn't become more independent, they became more anxious because the one tool they rely on, your face, stopped giving them information, and the world without information is a world they can't predict. So when your dog pauses at the doorway and looks back at you, that's not weakness, that's intelligence. It's checking the only external hard drive it has. And if you look away or show no reaction, you're not teaching confidence, you're teaching doubt. Here's what the research actually found. Dogs whose owners gave them calm, consistent facial feedback during ambiguous situations showed 34% lower cortisol levels, that's the stress hormone, compared to dogs whose owners looked away or showed no expression. The dogs weren't becoming dependent, they were becoming regulated. And there's a difference. One moment of warmth. Your dog doesn't just see you as an authority, it sees you as an emotional compass. And in moments when the world feels just slightly off, it uses that compass to find true north. But the detail that changes everything is this. In 2021, a researcher named Monique Udall conducted a study that almost no one talks about. She worked with 34 dogs and their owners. The task was simple. A stranger stood in the center of the room holding a toy. The dog was released and allowed to approach. But before the dog moved, the owner was told to do one of two things: smile at the stranger or frown. The dogs who saw their owner smile approached within an average of 4 seconds. The dogs who saw their owner frown took an average of 11 seconds. Some never approached at all. But here's what made it extraordinary. The stranger never changed. The toy never changed. The room never changed. The only thing that shifted was a single human expression, and that was enough to rewrite the dog's entire perception of safety. Your dog doesn't just check your face for permission. It checks your face to understand reality. And in that brief glance, it's asking a question deeper than obedience. It's asking, is the world I'm about to step into the same world you're seeing? Now, let's be practical about what this means at home. If your dog starts checking you more often, that's not a regression, that's awareness. It means something in its environment has introduced uncertainty, a new person, a new sound, a change in routine, and it's looking to you to close the gap. Watch for this pattern. If your dog checks you before entering a room it used to walk into freely, don't dismiss it. Don't force it forward. Pause with it. Let it see your face. Let it read your calm. That 3-second delay is not hesitation, it's recalibration. And once it sees that you're unbothered, it will move. The dogs who lose this checking behavior aren't the confident ones. They're the ones who stop trusting that their owner's face holds useful information, and that's a bond worth protecting. It's 3 in the afternoon. Your dog is standing at the edge of the couch, paw raised, head turned, looking directly at you. But now you see it differently. It's not asking for permission, it's asking if you're okay, if the room feels the same to you as it does to them. And in that glance, it's choosing to let your emotional state guide its next move. Because that's not dependence, that's trust.